My name's Pat O'Connor, and I'm standing for Reform UK. When I left the army, myself and my family moved to Gainsborough. I started to work for Lincolnshire Police, and I was a Lincolnshire County Councillor for Gainsborough for 17 years. I was also at one time Deputy Leader of the West Lindsey District Council, and last year, Mayor of Gainsborough. My three children all went to Gainsborough schools before going on to university. I enlisted in the army in Lincoln and served for 22 years. In 1982, when I was aged 20, the Argentinians invaded the Falkland Islands, and I was sent as part of the task force to recapture them. The eventual victory was one of the proudest moments of my life. It's just unfortunate that we had to leave so many good men behind. After that, my work for Lincolnshire Police as a call taker, I was able to solve an awful lot of problems and queries when people rang in, and it always gave me a great sense of satisfaction by being able to do that. I think the biggest issue for the residents is the one that's plaguing the country, that is uncontrolled mass immigration, which is running at over 1 million a year now. And we see out of that the problem that we've got at Scampton, which should really never have happened. I think only Reform UK has got the answer to stopping this mass immigration. I think it affects everyone, and all you've got to do is you've just got to walk around the towns, and you see the changing culture that's coming to us. So it's subtle, but it's happening. When I first came to Gainsborough, there was no NHS dentist, and I campaigned long and hard to get the first NHS dentist to come into the town. There's still a problem with dentistry throughout the area, and I'd like to work on that to see if we can bring the provision up. Also, in education, we have some excellent schools in Market Rasen and Gainsborough, but the other schools need to be brought up to the similar standard. We need to concentrate on education, make sure that children get the education they deserve. Children at the moment are not critically thinking about things, and we need to start that. I think the best thing we can do is to increase the tax threshold to £20,000. That's going to benefit everybody who's currently in work across the board. Very difficult at the moment bringing up families. I think the two things I'd probably do on this one is I would look at marriage and incentivise marriage by allowing more of the tax allowances to be transferred between partners. Also, I think we need to start allowing people to make the choice of whether one stays at home and looks after the children while the other works. But to do this, obviously, would have to front load the child benefit system. I think the cost of living and pensions, our pension provision is in a very serious mess at the moment. We've got a growing ageing population and less younger people earning. So that is going to cause problems way beyond what the problems are now. I think the only way to look at this, because it's such a mess, is to have a Royal Commission on pensions and social service. It's a horrendous situation. Wars always are. And as a soldier, as an ex-soldier, nobody hates war more than soldiers. But we seem to have this obsession with wanting to create enemies so that we always take sides. And looking back, I think you've got to take a more pragmatic approach. If you look back in history, Russia during the Second World War, sacrificed 50 million of its people to prevent the Germans from taking over. And at the same time, Ukraine was on the opposite side. It was supporting the Axis. So we need to look at that and say, well, perhaps in 10, 20 years, the situation will have reversed. I definitely take a more pragmatic view on it. Israel's slightly different because the situation you've got at the moment, there isn't a solution as long as the men of religion are involved. And until they come to an accord on that, it's never going to be solved. I think that has to be Dr. Jordan Peterson. He's a Canadian psychologist whose view on people and the world I really admire. I think that'd be Oscar Wilde for his wit and repartee. I always read his work. I'm not really into jokes. I prefer sayings. And one of my favourites at the moment is from Dr. Peterson, and it could actually relate to our current Prime Minister. And it's if you think tough men are dangerous, wait until you see what weak men are capable of. Motto in life? That's an excellent question. Probably take everything seriously except yourself.
Thank you very much indeed.